Stop scrolling for a second. What if I told you that everything you've been doing in the gym might be holding you back from real results? Men and women are built differently, and training the same way doesn't work. Stay with me because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to train smarter, get stronger, and finally see results that actually last. Men and women are biologically and hormonally different, and this is something we can't ignore when it comes to fitness, no matter how much the internet tries to simplify everything into one-size-fits-all routines. From the moment we're born, male and female bodies develop with different structures, different muscle distributions, different hormonal patterns, and different survival mechanisms. These differences don't mean one is better than the other, but they do mean the body responds differently to the same type of training. When both men and women follow exactly the same workout plan, the results are often uneven, and that's where frustration begins. People start blaming themselves, thinking they're not disciplined enough or that their body is broken, when in reality, the routine simply isn't designed for them. One of the biggest differences comes down to hormones. Men generally have much higher levels of testosterone, which plays a major role in muscle growth, strength development, and recovery. This hormone allows men to lift heavier weights, recover faster from intense training sessions, and build muscle more quickly. Because of this, many standard gym programs are unintentionally designed around the male body. They focus heavily on heavy lifting, low repetitions, long rest periods, and pushing intensity session after session. For many men, this works well. For many women, it doesn't feel sustainable or enjoyable, and in some cases, it can even be harmful. Women have higher levels of estrogen, a hormone that influences fat storage, joint flexibility, endurance, and how the body handles stress. Estrogen supports connective tissue and helps with endurance-based activities, which is why many women naturally perform well with higher repetitions, steady-paced workouts, and consistent movement. When women follow routines designed for male hormonal profiles, they may feel constantly exhausted, sore, or stuck, despite putting in serious effort. Over time, this can lead to burnout, hormonal imbalances, or a negative relationship with exercise itself. Body structure also plays a role in how training should be approached. Men typically have more upper body muscle mass, broader shoulders, and narrower hips, giving them a mechanical advantage in movements like presses, pull-ups, and heavy lifts. Women usually have wider hips, different knee angles, and a lower center of gravity, which can affect how certain exercises feel and how stress is distributed across the joints. This means that exercise selection, stance, and volume matter much more than people realize. Ignoring these structural differences can increase the risk of injury or discomfort, especially when routines are copied blindly from others. Another important factor is how men and women experience and manage stress. Intense exercise is a form of stress on the body. Men generally tolerate higher levels of physical stress more consistently, while women's bodies are more sensitive to cumulative stress from training, work, sleep, and life demands. When stress levels become too high, progress stalls. Women who train too intensely without proper recovery may notice increased fatigue, mood changes, sleep problems, and stubborn fat retention, especially around the midsection. This doesn't mean women shouldn't train hard, but it does mean intensity needs to be balanced intelligently. These biological differences explain why many people feel like fitness isn't working for them, even when they're doing everything they're told. A woman might follow a popular workout plan, train 5 or 6 days a week, push herself through intense sessions, and still see little progress or feel worse over time. A man might follow a routine that focuses too much on cardio or light weights and wonder why he's not gaining strength or muscle. In both cases, the issue isn't effort, it's alignment. Understanding that men and women are different allows fitness to become more personalized and effective. When routines respect hormonal patterns, body structure, and recovery needs, results feel more natural.
Energy improves, consistency becomes easier, and motivation stays high. Instead of forcing the body to adapt to a routine, the routine adapts to the body. That shift alone can completely change someone's experience with fitness, turning it from a constant struggle into a sustainable lifestyle. When people accept these differences, fitness stops being a comparison game. There's no need to copy someone else's routine or chase someone else's results. Progress becomes individual, based on how your own body responds. Men can train in ways that maximize strength and power without neglecting recovery. Women can train in ways that support hormones, build strength, and improve overall health without fear or frustration. This understanding creates respect for the body instead of conflict with it, and that mindset is the foundation of long-term health and real, lasting results.
Men and women often respond very differently to the same type of workout, and this difference becomes especially clear when we look at how the body handles intensity, volume, and recovery. Men usually respond better to heavy strength training and high-intensity workouts because their hormonal environment supports muscle growth, power output, and faster recovery. Testosterone plays a major role here, helping muscles repair and grow after being stressed. This is why many men feel energized and motivated after lifting heavy weights, pushing close to their limits, and challenging themselves with intense sessions. Their bodies are built to adapt to this type of stress more efficiently, especially when training is combined with adequate sleep and proper nutrition. Heavy strength training for men doesn't just build muscle, it also boosts metabolism, increases bone density, and improves overall physical confidence. Compound movements that involve multiple muscle groups at once tend to be particularly effective. Lifting heavier weights with lower to moderate repetitions sends a strong signal to the body to grow stronger and more efficient. High-intensity workouts, such as short bursts of explosive movements or intense intervals, also align well with the male physiology. These workouts tap into the body's ability to produce power quickly and recover between efforts, which many men naturally excel at. Women, on the other hand, often see better results when their training includes a balance of strength, endurance, and controlled intensity. While women absolutely benefit from lifting weights, their bodies often respond better to moderate loads, higher repetitions, and shorter rest periods. Estrogen supports muscular endurance and joint health, which allows women to perform repeated movements with less fatigue compared to men. This is why many women feel strong and capable during longer workouts that include circuits, supersets, or full-body routines. A balanced routine for women also helps manage overall stress levels. Extremely intense training sessions done too frequently can increase cortisol, a stress hormone that can interfere with fat loss, energy, and hormonal balance. When women focus only on pushing harder without allowing proper recovery, progress can slow down or even reverse. Moderate, well-structured workouts that challenge the body without overwhelming it tend to be far more effective and sustainable. This approach allows women to train consistently while still feeling good physically and mentally. Another important difference lies in recovery. Men often need more rest between sets and sessions because heavy lifting places a high demand on the nervous system. Longer rest periods allow strength to be maintained throughout the workout and reduce the risk of injury. Women, however, often recover faster between sets when the intensity is moderate. Shorter rest periods keep the heart rate elevated and create a strong metabolic effect without requiring maximal effort. This is one reason why many women enjoy and benefit from workouts that combine strength and light cardio elements. High-intensity training also affects motivation differently. Many men enjoy the feeling of pushing to failure or testing their limits, and this can be mentally rewarding when done correctly. Women may find greater motivation in workouts that feel challenging but controlled, where strength, coordination, and endurance come together. Feeling capable, strong, and energized often leads to better long-term consistency than feeling completely drained after every session.
These differences don't mean women should avoid intensity or that men should avoid balance. Both genders benefit from a variety of training styles. Men still need mobility, endurance, and recovery-focused sessions. Women still need progressive strength training to build muscle and protect their joints. The key is emphasis. When men prioritize heavy strength and high-intensity work, and women prioritize balance, control, and sustainable effort, training becomes more aligned with how their bodies naturally adapt. When people follow routines designed around these natural responses, results feel more achievable. Men often see improvements in strength, muscle definition, and overall performance. Women often notice better body composition, increased energy, improved mood, and greater confidence. Fitness stops feeling like a constant uphill battle and starts to feel like a supportive process that enhances daily life. Understanding that men and women respond differently to training intensity allows workouts to be adjusted intelligently instead of emotionally. Instead of copying routines blindly, people can focus on what actually helps their body progress. When effort is matched with the right type of training, consistency becomes easier, injuries become less common, and fitness becomes something that fits into life instead of taking it over.
Fat loss does not work the same way for men and women, and understanding this difference can completely change how people approach fitness, dieting, and their expectations. Many men experience rapid fat loss when they start training and cleaning up their diet, especially in the early stages. This happens because the male body is more inclined to use stored fat as a primary energy source, particularly when testosterone levels are higher and muscle mass is increasing. When men combine strength training with high-intensity activity, their metabolism often responds quickly, leading to visible changes in a relatively short period of time. Women, however, face a different biological reality. The female body is designed to protect fat stores as a survival mechanism, especially around the hips, thighs, and lower abdomen. This is closely tied to estrogen and reproductive health. Fat in these areas is not just stored energy, it plays a role in hormonal balance. Because of this, women often lose fat more slowly, even when they're training hard and eating well. This slower pace is not a failure, but many women interpret it that way because they are comparing their progress to men or to unrealistic standards online. One of the biggest mistakes women make in pursuit of fat loss is pushing their bodies into constant high-intensity workouts while drastically cutting calories. While this approach may work temporarily for some men, it often backfires for women. Excessive training combined with under-eating increases stress hormones, particularly cortisol. Elevated cortisol signals the body to hold on to fat, especially around the belly, and can disrupt sleep, energy levels, and mood. Instead of fat loss, women may experience bloating, fatigue, stubborn weight, and a feeling of being stuck, despite doing everything right. A hormone-friendly approach to fat loss focuses on balance rather than extremes. For women, this often means combining strength training with moderate cardio, daily movement like walking, and adequate rest. Strength training helps build lean muscle, which supports metabolism and improves body composition without overwhelming the nervous system. Moderate cardio supports heart health and fat oxidation without triggering excessive stress. Walking, in particular, is one of the most effective and underrated tools for fat loss in women because it lowers stress while keeping the body active. Nutrition plays a critical role in this process. Women often need sufficient calories and nutrients to support hormonal function, especially protein, healthy fats, and micronutrients. Chronic undereating can signal the body to conserve energy, making fat loss even harder. When women fuel their bodies properly, energy improves, workouts become more effective, and fat loss becomes more sustainable over time. This approach requires patience, but it leads to lasting results instead of short-term changes followed by burnout. Men, on the other hand, often respond well to short-term calorie deficits and aggressive fat loss strategies, especially when muscle mass is preserved through strength training.
High-intensity workouts, interval training, and heavier lifting can create a strong metabolic demand that accelerates fat loss. However, even for men, this approach has limits. Ignoring recovery, sleep, and nutrition eventually leads to plateaus, injuries, or hormonal imbalances. While men may tolerate stress better in the short term, long-term fat loss still requires balance. Another important difference is emotional response to fat loss efforts. Women often carry emotional stress related to body image, social pressure, and unrealistic expectations. When fat loss is slow, frustration builds, leading to cycles of restriction and overtraining. Men may feel discouraged too, but often detach more easily from the emotional side of weight changes. Recognizing this emotional component is essential for women to develop a healthier relationship with fitness and food. When fat loss strategies are designed with these differences in mind, the experience changes completely. Women stop feeling like their bodies are working against them and start working with their biology. Men stop chasing extreme methods and focus on consistency and performance. Progress becomes more predictable, sustainable, and less mentally exhausting. Instead of constantly adjusting plans out of frustration, people learn to trust the process and give their bodies what they actually need. Fat loss is not about punishment or extremes, especially for women. It is about creating an environment where the body feels safe enough to let go of stored energy. When stress is managed, nutrition is adequate, and training is balanced, the body responds naturally over time. Understanding that men and women lose fat differently removes unnecessary guilt and comparison, allowing fitness to become a long-term lifestyle rather than a temporary struggle.
Strength training offers powerful benefits for both men and women, but the way it is perceived and practiced often creates unnecessary fear on one side and neglect on the other. One of the most common myths in fitness is the idea that women will become bulky if they lift weights. This belief has stopped countless women from experiencing the true advantages of strength training. In reality, women do not naturally produce enough testosterone to build large, bulky muscles. Muscle growth in women happens slowly and requires very specific training, nutrition, and recovery over long periods of time. What strength training actually does for women is shape the body, increase muscle tone, improve posture, and create a leaner, stronger appearance rather than a bulky one. When women lift weights, their bodies adapt by becoming more efficient and resilient. Strength training improves bone density, which is especially important for long-term health and injury prevention. It strengthens joints, improves balance, and reduces the risk of common issues like knee pain and lower back discomfort. Beyond the physical changes, lifting weights has a powerful psychological effect. Women often experience a boost in confidence when they realize how strong they truly are. This confidence carries over into daily life, improving self-image and mental well-being. Despite these benefits, many women still rely almost entirely on cardio for fitness because they believe it is the only way to lose weight or stay slim. Excessive cardio without strength training can actually lead to muscle loss, slower metabolism, and increased fatigue over time. Strength training helps preserve lean muscle, which keeps the metabolism active and supports healthy body composition. When women understand that lifting weights enhances their natural shape instead of changing it negatively, fear begins to disappear and consistency improves. On the other side of the spectrum, many men focus so heavily on building muscle that they completely overlook mobility, flexibility, and recovery. Strength for men is often measured by how much weight can be lifted, how many reps can be completed, or how intense a workout feels. While this mindset can drive progress in the short term, it often leads to long-term problems if not balanced properly. Tight muscles, limited range of motion, and poor movement patterns can slowly build up, increasing the risk of injury and chronic pain. Mobility and flexibility are not signs of weakness, yet many men treat them as optional or unnecessary. Stretching, mobility drills, and proper warm-ups allow muscles and joints to move freely and efficiently. This not only reduces injury risk, but also improves performance in strength training itself. A body that moves well can generate more power, maintain better form, and recover faster between sessions. Men who include mobility work often notice improved lifts, better posture, and fewer aches and pains as they age. Recovery is another area men frequently underestimate. Heavy lifting places a significant load on the nervous system as well as the muscles. Without proper recovery, progress slows and fatigue accumulates. Sleep, rest days, and active recovery sessions are essential for continued growth and performance. Ignoring these elements can lead to burnout, plateaued results, or even serious injuries that force long breaks from training. True strength is not just about how hard someone can train, but how well they can recover and come back stronger. Both men and women benefit most when strength training is approached with balance and understanding. Women gain strength, confidence, and long-term health without becoming bulky. Men gain durability, longevity, and improved movement when they respect recovery and mobility. Strength training is not about fitting into stereotypes or following outdated beliefs. It is about building a body that functions well, feels strong, and supports everyday life. When these misconceptions are removed, strength training becomes empowering rather than intimidating. Women stop fearing weights and start embracing their strength. Men stop neglecting flexibility and start protecting their bodies for the long run. Fitness shifts from chasing extremes to building sustainability. A strong body is not defined by size alone, but by how well it moves, how resilient it is, and how capable it feels in daily life. When strength training is practiced with awareness and balance, it becomes one of the most valuable tools for lifelong health and performance.
The idea of a perfect fitness routine has been heavily influenced by social media, trends, and comparison, but the truth is that the best routine is not the most popular or the most extreme one. The best fitness routine is the one that works with your body, not against it, and supports your hormones, recovery, lifestyle, and long-term health. Many people jump from program to program, chasing quick results or copying what looks impressive online, without considering whether that approach actually fits their daily life or physical needs. This often leads to inconsistency, frustration, and eventually giving up altogether. Every body responds differently to exercise based on genetics, age, stress levels, sleep quality, and hormonal balance. When a routine ignores these factors, it may work temporarily, but rarely lasts. A routine that supports your hormones allows your body to adapt positively instead of constantly feeling under pressure. For women, this might mean avoiding constant high-intensity training and ensuring enough rest and nourishment. For men, it might mean balancing intense workouts with recovery and mobility work. When hormones are supported rather than stressed, energy levels improve, mood stabilizes, and progress becomes more predictable. Recovery is one of the most underestimated aspects of fitness. Many people believe that more workouts automatically mean better results, but without proper recovery, the body cannot adapt or improve. Muscles grow stronger during rest, not during the workout itself. The nervous system also needs time to reset, especially after intense training. A routine that includes adequate sleep, rest days, and active recovery allows the body to perform better over time. Ignoring recovery often leads to chronic fatigue, frequent injuries, and stalled progress, regardless of how hard someone trains. Lifestyle plays a huge role in determining what kind of fitness routine is sustainable. Someone with a demanding job, family responsibilities, or high stress levels may not thrive on long daily workouts. A routine that fits into real life is far more effective than one that looks perfect on paper but is impossible to maintain. Consistency beats intensity when it comes to long-term results. A moderate routine done regularly will always outperform an extreme routine that is followed for only a few weeks before burnout sets in. Another key factor is enjoyment. If a fitness routine feels like punishment, it will never last. People are more likely to stay consistent when they enjoy the process and feel good afterward. Enjoyment doesn't mean workouts are always easy, but it does mean they are satisfying and rewarding. When people choose activities they genuinely like, whether it's strength training, walking, cycling, yoga, or a combination, fitness becomes part of their lifestyle instead of a temporary phase. Social media often promotes unrealistic expectations and comparison. Seeing others' bodies, routines, and transformations can create pressure to follow the same path even when it doesn't suit your body or goals. Everyone's starting point, genetics, and circumstances are different. Comparing progress only leads to frustration and self-doubt. When people focus on their own journey and measure progress based on how they feel, move, and function, fitness becomes more meaningful and less stressful. A routine that supports long-term health prioritizes more than just appearance. It improves strength, mobility, cardiovascular health, and mental well-being. It reduces the risk of injury and chronic disease while increasing energy and confidence. When fitness is viewed as a tool for overall quality of life rather than just physical transformation, motivation becomes deeper and more sustainable. The goal shifts from short-term results to long-term vitality. When people stop chasing perfect routines and start building routines that fit their bodies and lives, everything changes. Fitness becomes flexible instead of rigid. Progress becomes steady instead of unpredictable. The body feels supported instead of constantly exhausted. This approach allows fitness to grow with you as your life changes, rather than falling apart when circumstances shift. A routine that adapts to you, respects your limits, and supports your health is not just effective, it is sustainable, and sustainability is what ultimately leads to lasting results.